fellow Sudokans, and welcome to Zen and the Art of the Guardian Sudoku puzzle. It's Saturday the 7th of January 2022. Hello newcomers. I'm hoping to get some new people to the channel here because this is a beginner level, or sorry, an easy level game, but I'm hoping that beginners might come on board and see how to play Sudoku. Remember, there's no age limit as to when you can take up Sudoku. It doesn't matter if you're 95 years old, you feel like playing your first game of Sudoku, come on in. The water's lovely, or the grid is lovely. And so, you know, there are no age restrictions. Anybody from, you know, as long as you're old enough to recognize symbols, to the point where you are hopefully still able to recognize symbols, any ages can play the game. So I'm going to explain the rules of the game. Really, there's only one rule. It just applied in three different ways, or three different ways, I guess. And it's pretty simple to understand, and it's a game of logic, and you don't need to be good at maths to play the game at all. So how do we play the game? Well, okay, so you can see there are 9 squares in each of the rows across, and there are 9 squares in each of the columns down, okay? And there are 9 squares in these small grids of 3 by 3. Like there's one here, there's another one here, 3 by 3. Okay, so there are 9 of these blocks. Now what do? You can see there are already some numbers placed in the grid, and the lowest number you can see is 1, and the highest number you can see is 9. And of course, because there are 9 squares, so 9 boxes across, 9 boxes down, and 9 in these larger blocks here. Okay, so the game is to place the numbers 1 per square, as you can see, in each row, column, and block. And that's it, really. And the lowest, obviously, because there are only 9 squares in each row and each column, then the numbers can only fit in once. You can't have more or a number repeating itself. So how do we go about finding the digits? Okay, let's take this block here. I'll click on a blank square like this. So, okay, you can see we already have some numbers filled in. 1, 7, 4, 6, and 2 are already in here. As yet, we don't have a 9 in this block, but we can actually place a 9 in here. Now, how do we do that? I'm going to click on a digit 9. I'm using a computer here. You can do this with a pen and paper. Obviously, if you can't click on it if it's a pen and paper, if you're using a paper version, but just look around and see. Actually, you can see the 9s highlighted on the computer, but you know, I recommend if you're just a beginner to play with pen and paper first, pencil and paper if you prefer. So what can we know? What do we know? Well, we know that this 9 blocks up this column. It means that 9 can't be in any of these squares because we already have a 9 in this column here, okay? And we have 9 in this row blocking across here as well. So these 3 squares, these 3 empty squares can't be 9 because we already have 9s blocking them. Can I say blocking? You know, meaning disallowing any repetition of digit 9. And that leaves just 1 empty square here because we already have digits filled in these squares here. So that has to be a 9. It can't be anything else. The game of Sudoku has a logical single solution, and so we can place 9 there. Now actually we have 9s in 8 places already, and there are 9 of each digit on the board. You know, remember, 1 to 9 within each block. So each block has the digits 1 to 9. Now this block down here doesn't yet have digit 9. But we can say that there's a 9 blocking across here, and there's a 9 blocking across here. And so there is only, again, the one option where the 9 can go. It has to go there. And now we have actually finished digit 9. There are no more 9s to get. So we don't have to concern ourselves with digit 9 anymore. Okay. Your turn now. I'm going to ask you to try to find digit 1 in one of these empty squares here. Okay, so what do you need to do? Remember, you need to look around, not in this box, of course. You need to look around the outside for a digit 1 and then to see how it affects the squares in this block. Okay, have a quick look. I'm twiddling my thumbs. Metaphorically, not actually. Okay, right, let's hope you found it now. So when we look up and down, do we see any ones? No, there's nothing in the columns that affect these squares, but when we look over here, we certainly can see a 1 here, and we also can see a 1 here. So we can say that this one blocks across this row here, and this one blocks across this row here, and so we're left with just one option, excuse me, and we know that the 1 has to be in that square down there. Let's continue with the ones and have a look at this block down here. So there are only 4 possible places where the 1 can go. Can you see it? If you stretch your eyes across to the left here, you'll see this 1 blocks right across here, and that will give us a 1 there. Now, if you look again, we've got 8-digit 1s already. So where is the last one? Where does the last digit 1 have to appear? Well, it has to appear in the block where we don't yet have it, right? And we can see that we have 1s highlighted in all the blocks except for this one up here. Now we know that we can get it, but a part of Sudoku logic is if you already have 8 of a digit, you can get the 9th version of that digit, or position of that digit, I should say. So where does it go? We've got 1 block. Oops, we got 1 blocking up. Excuse me, 1 blocking up here, 1 blocking up here, and 1 blocking across here. So that has to be a digit 1, and that is the final digit 1. We now have 1 and 9 complete. We can't do any more. Okay, your turn now. Can you find a digit 2 in this block here? Again, I'm twiddling my thumbs. Got it? Well done. Okay, so let's see then. We have 2 blocking up here, and we have 2 blocking across here, and so we know that the 2 must go in that square there, right? Got it? Okay. Right, now we're going to do something slightly different. We're going to look at this row along the top and decide where we can place a 2 in this row. Okay, now you can see there are 4 empty squares, right? So we have to consider each empty square and say, can a 2 go in that square? So let's start on the left and say, can a 2 go here? Well, there's nothing affecting this square. There aren't any 2s around here that affect it. Nothing down here, nothing across here. And so the answer is yes, it can be a 2. Let's look at this square here and say, can this square be a 2? And the answer is quite definitely no, because we've got a 2 down here. We've also got a 2 here, so it's actually it's being blocked in 2 different ways. But for sure, this can't be a 2. What about this square here? Can it be 2? Answer again, no, because this 2 blocks everything in this block. And so, of course, this square also can't be 2, right? Because both of these are blocked because there's only digits 1 to 9 in each block. So it means that none of these 3 squares can be 2, and that leaves just this square over here, and so we know that that's where the 2 must go. Getting the hang of it now? Good. So that's all we need to do, is just continue on like this and find our way around. So we're looking for 2 down here. Would you like to find it? I'll give you 5 seconds. I don't know if that was 5 seconds, but it feels like 5 seconds. I forgot to count. So let's try now. So 2's blocked down here like this and across here, and that's going to give us a 2 there. Okay. So, you know, the difficult part of the game is always looking around to see where the possibilities are, where things can go, and that's the thing that takes the time and is the only, you know, the only difficult thing about the game really is just deciding where we ought to look next. Now you get a few clues once you have some experience on this, but let's say this block here has only 3 digits missing, and we can certainly find a 3. Can you see where the 3 can go? Alright, so we've got this 3 blocking across here, so 3 has to be in that square there. Now I want to show you something else. We can definitely place a 3 here, and we can definitely place a 3 here. Let's see why. Okay, so we can see the 3 blocking across up here, so that gives us an empty square up here, right? And then the 3s are going to block down here and across here, And so that's going to give us a digit 3 in that square there. Now when we see a block like this with only 2 empty squares, we should look and see what we need to get in those 2 squares, because it's often an easy gimme in the easy level games, and even if in the hard level games sometimes. So we see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have 5. We've got 6, 7. We don't have 8. We've got 9. So it means that 5 and 8 must go in these 2 squares. Now, do we have any 5s or 8s where we can tell that? And the answer is, of course, yes, we definitely do, because we have a 5 up here blocking that square. And so we know that this is the 5 and this is the 8. Okay. There are 2 empty squares up here. Let's see what's missing. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't have 6 and we don't have 8. Can we tell which is which? Yes, we can when we look. No good looking over here. You need to look down here, of course, and we can see the 6 blocking that square, so we know that the 6 is here and the 8 goes in that square. Now we can say 8 blocks across here and 8 blocks up here, and that will give us an 8 here. I said we should look if we've got 2 squares missing. Now we have 2 squares for this row, and we may be able to find what they are, but maybe we can't. But one thing's for sure, we can definitely get this square here, because there are 3 numbers missing, right? So it means that we know what these 2 numbers must be, because they have to complete the series of 1 to 9. And then we will have, whether we can place them or not, we don't know for sure yet, but we can find out what they are. And that will leave only one other number to complete this block. Got it? So let's see what's missing here. So we look across, we've got 1, 2, 3. We don't have 4. We've got 5, 6. We don't have 7. So we know that 4 and 7 are in these squares here. Now imagine that we can't place them. We can actually, but just imagine for a second that we can't place them. We know that's 4 and 7. So then we look around, we say 1, 2. Hey, this has to be a 3, because we've got 1, 2. No 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember, this is 4 and 7, 8, 9. So we know that that's a 3. In fact, though, we can actually place them because we've got 4 blocking up here. So there's the 4 and there's the 7. Like so. Let's see what's missing from over here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have 5 and we don't have 6, but we've got a 6 blocking up here. So this can't be 6. That must be 6 and that must be 5. Now down here, can you find the missing 5 from these 3 squares? Got it now? Okay, so 5 blocking down and down like this. That gives us a 5 there. Now what numbers are missing here? So actually what's missing here is 4 and 7. And now this time we cannot place them because we don't have information in these columns about 4 and 7 just yet. We will pretty soon, but we don't at the moment. So we don't know which is 4 and we don't know which is 7 just yet. So we have to leave that for a moment, but just a second you'll see that we can actually do that. Because when we look at this block here, we look at the 7s, we say 7 blocks across here and 7 blocks down here. So that, in fact, must be a 7. And now we know that this can't be 7. This has to be 7 and this has to be 4. So, you know, the game of Sudoku is constantly looking for, it can't be that, so therefore it must be this, right? Or it can't be this, therefore it must be that, whichever way round you want to look at it. 4 blocks up here. Here's the missing 4. And for this block here, we still need an 8 to complete the block. Or to complete the row. It doesn't matter. It's the same digit, of course. Down here we are still looking for a digit 2 to complete this column. We don't yet have a 2 for this column. We've got everything else. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is a 2 then. And now we can take that 2. You know, good to use. Take the number you just filled in, and 2 are blocking across here. So in this block at the end here, which doesn't yet have a 2, we know that the 2 must go there. We're going to take that 2 that we just filled in, bring it down now, and 2 across here, and that's going to give us a 2 there. And 2 is now finished along with 1 and 9, both completed. Now over here we can choose either this square or this square, and we're sure to know because look, in this column we're missing 1, or this row we're missing 1, whichever way you want to look at it. Alright, so the missing number here is 4. We need a 4 for this row. We don't yet have a 4. So let's place the 4 there. And the missing number for this block or this column, same thing, is going to be a 6. And now we have just one number missing for this row. And we look along and find it's a 5. So there you go. Now we've almost finished the game. Down here we have one empty square for this column. And the missing number is going to be a 7. And now we have one number missing for this column. And the missing number this time is going to be 8. We have everything else. And so now we have 2 numbers missing from here. We don't yet have 4 and we don't yet have 5. We've got 1, 2, 3. There's no 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 4 and 5 go here. And look at that. We have 2 numbers that help us. The 4 blocks here and the 5 blocks here. So we can do either way round. 5 goes here, 4 goes there. Now there's just one empty square at the end of this row here. And that's filled with a 6. 6 blocks up here and 6 blocks down here. Here's the 6. And the missing numbers here and here are 4 and 7. Up here we have a blocking 4. We know this can't be 4. 4 goes here and 7 goes here. If this has been too fast for you, go back and watch it again. And you need to try the game yourself. There's always a link to the games in the description. So, go ahead and try the games yourself, please. If you want to leave, if you're a newcomer to Sudoku and you have some basic questions or whatever your level, you have some questions that you want to ask, put them in the comment section. And you can ask questions and I'll answer if I know the answer, and if it's easy to answer, I'll answer. If not, some other experts that are in the comment section will answer for me, perhaps. And together we'll get some answers to Sudoku. But if you're a newcomer to Sudoku, welcome. It's a great game to play. 7 obviously blocking there, putting a 7 here. Great game to play and practice your mental logic and agility. Okay, a 3 is the last number that we need, and it's going to complete the block here, it's going to complete the row here, and it's going to complete the column here, and it's 3. And that's it. So thank you very much. That's the New York Times easy level puzzle. Play a few easy games. There's a whole list of easy games on this channel. And then also try to learn a bit more and maybe move up to the medium games. As I say, though, you can ask questions in the comments section. Bye-bye.